Well, time to tap into legal expertise of former Deputy Assistant Attorney General and Cal Berkeley law professor and just all around really brilliant legal mind, John Yoo. John, thank you for joining us tonight. Let's jump right in there. It's a very fascinating case that's going to be heard because while the birthright citizenship issue is the vehicle that's getting there, what's at play is really whether or not these judges, of which there are hundreds around the country, a judge in Kansas could affect the lives of a bunch of people in Massachusetts or anywhere else in the country. How do you see this playing out?
Exactly right, Griff. This is about who controls all those, and there's about 675 federal trial judges spread out all over the country. And some of them have been bringing the federal government, bringing President Trump's agenda to a screeching halt, even though they don't have anybody, say, who works for the government or any of the illegal aliens or any of the spending in their own courtrooms. And so what's going on here, I think it's important to understand, is that the Supreme Court is already signaling that they're very sympathetic to the Trump administration. The Supreme Court, a scheduled oral argument for May 15th. It never hears cases in May. Usually they'd be done their business and they'd be sending out opinions by now. They've called basically a special session in order to hear President Trump's claims that there should not be unlimited nationwide injunctions, but that they should be under the control of the Supreme Court. Whether you agree or disagree with President Trump's order on birthright citizenship, they may not even get to the question, because the key thing here is for the Supreme Court to put an end to these 675 trial judges who all think they can run foreign policy, spending, and hiring throughout the federal government.
And John, you well know that they're the Supreme Court justices. They could do anything. They could take it anywhere they want to take it. Do you see them maybe broadening their purview of this?
That's a nice point, Griff. I think several of the justices have already said publicly and in published opinions that they think these nationwide injunctions should end. So they could write a very broad opinion that applies not just to birthright citizenship cases, but efforts to cut spending, efforts to downsize the government, efforts, as we've seen on the previous segment, trying to get violent illegal aliens out of the country. All those cases could be directly affected by this May 15th oral argument if those justices vote the way I think they will.
And John, just in the last few seconds I've got to do, since you sort of brought it up, you know, we saw late this afternoon playing out Judge Boasberg saying in the case that there's a possible additional flights of Venezuelans being deported under the Alien Enemies Act. And there was an effort by the ACLU to run to the Supreme Court to get Judge Boasberg to stay any additional flights, which DHS says there's no flight leaving tonight or tomorrow, but yet the High Court has said that flights like that under the Alien Enemies Act could continue. And Boasberg basically said, look, I don't have jurisdiction. I can sympathize with you, but I can't control this. It's not for me to stay this. Your take?
Again, this is another example where the Supreme Court has been much more favorable to Trump than the regular media would have you believe. They think that Boasberg's on some kind of crusade and is attacking Trump, and the Supreme Court's allowing him. But as you described it, and as we know now from the Supreme Court's opinion, the court took those cases away from Boasberg. They've sent them to Texas. Now, these lawyers can bring cases on behalf of some of these aliens in Texas, but the Supreme Court and the Trump administration agree that's where they should go, not a district judge like Judge Boasberg in Washington.
Great insight as always, John Yoo. Thank you for taking time tonight. Have a happy Easter.